Hi guys, welcome. And who dat? I'm Joe. Welcome to Rosenfield 10, where I talk about the Saints, and now I'm going to talk about the game against the Eagles. Well, nobody wants to hear about this. Nobody wants to think about it. We just want to ignore it and move on. I watched one channel's coverage of it, and I had enough. And I'll probably go back and watch all of them later, but right now I'm in a bad mood. So why am I recording a video? Because I got some things I want to talk about, and I don't want to forget about it. And this is a feeling that I'm going to embrace, much like the feeling we had going into this game. I wanted to embrace it for every last second. And so now we're going to face the harsh reality. So I've said that it's probably going to be about week 8 before we really know what we have as a football team. I figure if we keep blowing teams out, we'll know we're pretty good. And after that performance against the Panthers and then especially against the Cowboys, we feel like that we have a pretty high ceiling as far as this team goes, especially Klint Kubiak, who got all of his flowers and then some. Well, I don't think anyone's going to be knocking on his door asking him to be head coach after watching the Saints put up 12 points on their way to a 15-12 loss to the Philadelphia Eagles. A team that couldn't stop the run all year and even last week against an outside zone scheme that Atlanta's put in. So, yeah, why did they have so much success against us? Well, we lose our starting center, Erik McCoy, on the first or second offensive play, and then something happens that bothers me. And I've talked about it before, and I'll bring it up again, because I think it was evident. Your center goes down, and you take your left guard, the guy who's the highest rated left guard in the league, and you put him at center. Why? Because he's a veteran, he can make the calls from center better than a typical backup center where you don't have a backup center. You didn't choose to have a backup center. Otherwise, somebody would be prepped to go in and take the place of McCoy. You lose McCoy, okay, you're down 1. You don't take your left guard and put him out of position. Now you're down 2. Because whoever plays center is not going to be as good as McCoy. You should at least have somebody who can play center, okay? Not take your left guard and put him at center. That's ridiculous, ridiculous. Then you put in Oli Udoh. I'm looking at Kyle Hergel on the practice squad thinking, yeah, this guy's the guy that should be coming in at center right now. He should be trained enough to make the calls. If he's not learning anything else, learn how to play center. I don't like it, okay? Because now Patrick is he's a secondary piece at center when he was the reigning champ at left guard. And then Cesar Ruiz gets hurt, and so all of a sudden Saldiveri, who was competing to be the starting left guard, is finally going to come in as like the 4th guard and play right guard. And yeah, we couldn't stop them up the middle. We couldn't get the run going up the middle. And another thing, I'm going to keep it going about Klint Kubiak because, you know, we all said it. He's great. But you got to be able to do a little bit of everything in this league. You can't have players that can just do one thing and not the other. So I don't want to straight up man block and drop back the pass every down because our offensive line's not good enough. That's why I don't want to do it. But you should be able to when you have to. People said that. That was the caveat. If we fall behind, we're not built to come back. Well, you should be smart enough to put in 3 wide receivers or 4 wide receivers. If you're gonna, what if what you're doing doesn't work? You're just gonna keep banging your head against the brick wall. Okay, the outside zone runs were okay, but the middle runs weren't working. Well, you ran Kamara 26 times. He shouldn't have more than 15 carries. Well, I don't care how brilliant he is. 20 carries at the most. You're killing the man if you give him more than that. Meanwhile, you got Jamal Williams sitting there. You don't think to bring him in every now and then? He can pass block. He can catch. Pound him up the middle a couple of times. No, nothing was working. We weren't blocking good enough. And there was a point when I thought, well, the Kubiak scheme, they've practiced against it all week. They're doing very well against it. So maybe we should change things up and do something else. No, we're not capable of doing that, apparently, because Carr reverts right back into the same player he's always been when he's in that typical kind of offense. I'm saying you should still be versed in it. You should still be able to do it. Okay, the running game isn't working, but you still run the ball. You have to keep a defense honest. Okay, well, in that instance, whether you're running the ball well or not, okay, we're not running the ball well today. The Eagles are playing good run defense, so we just quit doing play action. I always hear that. Well, we didn't run that much play action today. Well, it's because the running game wasn't working. Well, how do you think the running game wasn't working? Because the Eagles were playing run defense. That's why you do play action, because they're ready to stop the run. It's ridiculous. If play action is going to be 50% of our offense, you shouldn't go into a game and have it be whatever the hell it was today wasn't anywhere near 50%. And that's one of the things that makes Carr play out of his brain in the first two games, is not only the run game working, not only us getting a big lead, but the play action. You can't just bail on that. You just can't. I don't agree with running Kamara 26 times, or whatever he ran for, 28 carries. What? I don't like it. Okay, and I noticed that in the first two games we were basically just running two wide receivers the whole time, running the same two routes over and over again. If you can't go out there and catch them by surprise by spreading your offense out, running four wide receivers, and doing something different, then you're not going to win as a football team. I watched Sean Payton's Denver Broncos, who I have at the bottom of my power rankings, look like offensive geniuses for most of the game today compared to what we look like today, and that's embarrassing. I was looking at all the other offenses in the league and feeling bad for them because of what the Saints were able to do. But if that's what the Saints turn into when we hit adversity against a team that's playing our scheme well, it seems to have everything diagnosed, yeah, we're going to have to change things up. You're going to have to do something else. If the outside zone run isn't working, you're going to have to straight up man whatever. You're going to have to pass. You're going to have to spread the defense out. You're going to have to play three wide receivers. Well, that's just not what the Saints do. Well, you know, that's championship teams don't become championship teams when they're just stuck doing one thing good and that's it. You have to be versatile. You know, you have to be able to overcome this stuff. So I'm expecting Klint Kubiak, if he wants this job, much less a head coaching job somewhere else, I'm going to expect him to come up with something. What's your plan when a guy like Taysom Hill's not in the game? What is your plan? That wasn't a good plan. Didn't work out. Whatever you thought was good didn't work out. And running the ball up the middle with Kamara 26 times, like, no, I don't like any of that. I certainly don't like watching us put up less points than we were basically averaging per quarter. Yeah, I'm going to give the Eagles their props. The defensive line's full of all these first-rounders and stuff, and it's about time they play good, you know, and they just so happen to play good against us and our backup offensive linemen. So I said in my last video, it's one thing to look at. If there was that much competition for starting offensive linemen on our team, our beloved Bless You Boys in black and gold, I thought maybe these backup offensive linemen would have success too. And as soon as they took our starting left guard, Patrick, and put him at center when McCoy went out, I threw it all out the window. It doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't make sense to me. By the end of the game, you had three players out of position. Patrick should have stayed at left guard. In my opinion, you should have Kyle Hergel as your backup. If Nick Saldiveri can't go in there and play center, well, he showed he can't really play right guard very well either. So, all right, enough of the offense. That's just the way it is, and that's how I feel. Now I'm going to get on to the defense. I always say Dennis Allen's one of the best defensive coordinators in the game, and that's because when the season's over, we're always in the top 10. We're always pretty good against the pass and usually against the run too. And yeah, because he's got a good scheme. But we've seen him for years now fail at stopping running quarterbacks, and his defense has this inability to cover the tight end. So we did really good against Jalen Hurts and his ability to run. So maybe he finally figured it out. Maybe he had the players in the right position, and it was the right players at the right time, and he figured that out. But he didn't figure out covering tight end. Now, every Saints content provider all week long, when breaking down the Eagles, would talk about how ineffective the Eagles' offense was going to be because they didn't really have anybody to throw to. And they mentioned Goddard as, well, he's probably the best tight end we faced all year, but, you just stop Jalen Hurts from running, everything's going to be fine. He was almost an afterthought on every show. They mentioned him, and I'm the one that kept pointing out, we can't cover the tight end. Goddard is somebody you got to cover, and yeah, we didn't do it. He hadn't figured that part out yet, and especially at the end of the game when their number 2 receiver was out, their number 3 receiver was out, and they're trying to score with almost no time left. It's 3rd and 16, and we run man coverage, and they had been running those crossing routes all game long. And the tight end was getting open all game long. And here we go, man coverage again. You're not supposed to call prevent, but you're not supposed to have your DB dragging on a crossing route in man coverage all game long either. You have to figure something out. Now, before the 2 DBs for the Saints ran into each other, which took both of them out of the play, and then the tight end was wide open for a 61-yard catch and run. Before that happened, the other wide receiver on the crossing route hit the guy that was covering Goddard. It should have been a PI. It wasn't called. It wasn't your typical pick play because it didn't happen in the same area. This wide receiver ran all the way across the field and hit this guy first. Then when he bounced off that's when both the Saints players hit each other. So, yeah, I got an issue with it. I got an issue with Dennis Allen not being able to do something different when you got burned over and over on it. And I also have an issue with this defense in particular. It's like, I keep saying they can be dominant, and they are dominant. You look at some of the stats, and it's dominant. They forced turnovers, dominant. Got sacks and stopped the running quarterback, dominant. You held the team to 0 points, You finished the game, you only allowed 15. That's what I want from this defense. All of that's dominant. But then you look at the yardage, 460 yards or whatever they had in total offense, marching up and down the field. Thank God you forced those turnovers because they kept running and passing all over you all game long. 400 and something yards is ridiculous. This defense is capable of holding every team they play to under 300 yards easily. And a big day from anybody should be 350 against this defense. So, yeah, I'm not sold. I can't blame the defense except for that last drive. And it's kind of really Dennis Allen's fault for putting him in that position to begin with. Man coverage. With the tight end running the crossing route all damn day long. Nobody was covering Goddard very well. He should have been the guy that had double coverage. Shell coverage on a tight end, whatever. I was begging this team to draft someone that can cover a tight end. I was hoping it was Cooper DeJean. He's with the Eagles. I don't know if he played today or not. I don't guess he needed to because CD was talking, smacking, and backing it up. And that idiot on the defensive line for Philadelphia, who you just won the game and you still can't shut your mouth. He's yelling and he's got this look on his face like he's about to hit his own head coach just because he wants to keep yelling at Tyrann Mathieu or whatever. I hate punks like that. Absolutely hate punks like that. You're a millionaire. You just won the game. Shut up. Okay? So, all right. So that's how I feel about the game. There was some dumb head coach decisions. In this kind of game, when points are at a premium, you kick the field goal when you have the opportunity to kick the field goal. What were you doing? Trying to prove a point to Blake Grupe? Well, you bumped the first field goal off the goalpost. You're lucky you made that one. I'm not going to give you this one. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to make a statement and we're going to get this first down on 4th and 1 and your defense is playing so well that you think if you don't make it, no, if you kick a field goal and you go up 6-0, your defense is still going to play good. You take the points in a game like that when you can get them. I don't like it. Didn't like it at all. It wouldn't have proved anything to me if we would have made it on 4th and 1. You're not bigger and better and badder than everybody else if you barely get out of there with a 1-point win, okay? Macho junk. Kick the field goal. Learn something from this, Dennis Allen, please. Take the points. Points are a premium in a game like this. The offense played so bad, I thought the only way we would win is if the defense got a turnover and brought it back to the house. That was the only way I could see us getting any points at one point because it was awful. Dennis Carr was okay. He was just average. I don't really blame him on the interception at the end because he kept getting pressure right up the middle in his face. I'm shocked he even was able to finish the game. He got hit so hard the last time. So, yeah, all in all, a mess. And that's how I feel about it. Klint Kubiak, Dennis Allen, you're not coach of the year. You're not the best head coach for any other team next year. You're a couple of coaches still trying to figure it out. And one of these days, you're going to prove to me that when you meet adversity, you can overcome it. As bad as we played, we almost won this game. And that's the very thin silver lining in all of this. I knew eventually we would play a bad game, and I figured we'd still be good enough. We were almost good enough. So gone are the bizarro world dreams of this team being the 85 Bears or even the Super Bowl Saints. Okay, we're going to have to win 2 or 3 more 40-burger blowouts before I get back on that particular train again. Until then, my attitude is, oh no, we suck again. But there is that very thin silver lining, and hopefully we can make it through this week. Today was an awful day for me in a personal life and a big picture, everything else. And so the Saints losing is just like salt on the wound. Ugh. But, you know, you got to look at everything from the big picture. And like I said, it's painful now, and that's why I want to put these feelings down. But there is the big picture. We almost won. As bad as we played, as dire as the circumstances appeared to have been, we almost won. Now, can our coaches figure it out? Because I don't blame the players. I blame the coaches. Can the coaches figure it out so we can get out of this mess if it happens again? That's what we'll see. I'm Joe. Subscribe to Rosenfield 10 for more videos about our beloved Bless You Boys in Black and Gold, the New Orleans Saints. And until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Who dat?